going to be fighting the main antagonist. You have to fight him 3 times in this game, but this is the first time.
This guy?
Yep.
Heh.
I mean, look at his big sword. Of course he's the main villain.
That's true.
Well, he's not the main villain, but he's the main antagonistic force.
Reign of Death. I don't think that really had to go out that far. We could see the rain without it zooming out.
I think it's fine.
Nope. 0 out of 10. So I'm guessing because you have a lot of abilities that he's like relatively not super difficult right now.
I do think that most of his fights are pretty easy, except for there's 2 versions of the final boss, and of course the true ending one is like the way harder one, and that fight is very hard, as you would hope the final boss would be.
Yeah. Are there optional mega bosses in this game?
Not that I'm aware of. There's like a few optional bosses in like the entire game,
okay.
Like very few. In fact, I can only think of like 2, which are both just like these weird like mechanical things. But it's very clearly like optional because they have like entrances on both sides, and you don't like get anything from doing it.
Yeah, I know in in Hollow Knight, and I know the only comparison is that they're both Metroidvania, but there's like a ton of optional super bosses, so much so that it actually pretty much annoyed me. Lilac.
Hey, look, they look kind of similar with their faceplates. What could it mean? So one theory that I thought of the entire game, Spencer doesn't know because he didn't play the first one or knows anything about it, but Nola's dress is like bread on the bottom, which really looks like the blighted. The main character in the first game gets like more and more blighted as the game goes on, and she turns more and more red. And I was like, I wonder if Nola's blighted, but she's not.
So this is it. Dies.
One thing I think this game does a lot worse than the first game is just atmosphere. They're obviously going for like a way different thing with the homunculuses and it being like more steampunk, and most of the enemies being like sort of mechanical. But the first game has like really good atmosphere, and you honestly feel really bad for the protagonist because like after like the first major boss, you can tell like she's getting more and more blighted, and as it goes on, it's sort of like a Shadow of the Colossus thing where like she gets more and more like, messed up, and like by the end you're just like, oh my god, I just want to pat her on the head. I don't know. So we went up to the Central Sanctum, and of course everything is very bad, and most people are, not most, but a lot of people are dead. It's like, cool.
Yo, that homunculus on the right looks so cool.
It does.
Is he like the homunculus of like one of those guys?
Just, I guess, just sort of just a peacekeeper, like generic force guy. He's definitely not named or anything. I don't even know why he's standing there.
Yeah, he looks like he would be like, you know, his like guardian of like the black-haired guy or girl. I can't tell. That's the best part about these androgynous character designs. It's like, well, hey, Peacekeeper. So as you go further up, things get worse and worse?
It might not be as bad as Lower Sanctum, but it's kind of like implicitly thought that like Central Sanctum is probably fine, but it's not.
Got it.
Let's do some of these, because we're talking about the plot a bit. Let's do some of these dialogue things. I've been slacking on them. Literally talking about their names. This is like the first thing of the entire game.
Oh yeah, and like you're like, what, like halfway or a third way through the game?
Yeah. So I'll get through these, but there's a little. They don't like reveal much, but there's just a little bit of flavor text. Mostly being like, main character sure is emotionless and like kind of badass. What's the deal with that? Surely has nothing to do with her being some test tube baby found in the land of origin or anything.
The guy on the left looks so cool. It's just top tier character design. Whoa! Calm down, bro. That reminds me of the fake president in FF8 in the Dailing train. You stupid idiots! Dude, that would be part if they ever did an FF8 remake, which obviously they won't. Like it would be hilarious to see him turn into that weird zombie thing.
Talking about remakes.
Whatever do you mean?
Talking about remakes that might happen, I wonder if that Final Fantasy IX remake that they've been hinting at for literally years.
Boy, it's been since at least 2020.
Like, there's no way that it's going to be like a Final Fantasy VII style remake, because that'd be like a 10-year multi-part remake trilogy for Final Fantasy IX, which definitely is not going to pan out. But like, I just don't know like what they're gonna do. Is it just gonna be like more like Final Fantasy VIII remastered, where it's just like a touch up, or is it gonna be like
because
more of like a big thing?
The FF8 remaster was just quality of life. It wasn't too much, from what I remember. What if it would be like what they did in Link's Awakening, where it's like a 1-to-1 pretty much, but it's just graphically different. You know, for like the Switch Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
But then why would that take so damn long?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy IX is a very, very gigantic game.
It's true.
But
yeah, I mean...
The best thing the remake could possibly do is just be like... just quality of life stuff. Just not make everything take a million years to do anything.
Yeah. Fixing the Chocobo stuff, which I want to be fun, but just honestly isn't.
The Chocobo Hot and Cold stuff is like so ridiculous that I like respect it on one level, but on the second level it's like just like guide based.
I just followed a guide. That's what I tried, and I was like, I literally, even following a guide and it told me what to do, I was like, I don't get it. I would just say the words, I don't get it, as I found the items.
I've been replaying some of the Mega Man Battle Network games, and those post games are the most like look at a guide thing I have ever seen in my life. It's just like you have to find all the battle chips in like every single game to unlock like the final area and the final like super boss, and it's always like, okay, now in the encounter pool, Airman V3 is going to show up with a 5% rate in this random area somewhere. It's
oh,
like,
you know, I vaguely remember that kind of stuff.
It's like, how are you possibly supposed to know about this stuff?
I just kind of assume in games back in the day like that, when you get to post-game, I would just go to a guide and be like, what did I miss? I don't know. I don't know. So the first time through a game for me, especially in the games I like horror games, I try to go through it without, any sort of help. But then afterwards, it's like, what did I miss? What's here? Kind of thing. I do really want to play. Maybe not necessarily if I want to 100% it, but are the Battle Network games long? I can't imagine they are. No. Probably, 15, 20 hours if you want to do almost everything.
I would say like 10, 15 hours if you just want to go through the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to complete the post games, they get like everyone loves Mega Man Battle Network 3's post game for being deep and have a lot of stuff to do, which is technically true, but it's mostly just refighting the same things over and over with higher stats.
Dog of the meat, kid.
I'll keep up with these so we don't have to sit here for 10 minutes as they're more relevant.
I can't believe they came out with so many Mega Man games for a period of time, and now they just don't. There's 6 Mega Man Battle Networks.
Obviously,
technically more if you count the dual releases.
Yeah, obviously the major force behind them was KJ Inafune,
right,
who left Capcom.
I get that.
2010.
But it's just there was even a couple Mega Man Star Force games. I don't know if you count it, but the 5 Mega Man Zero games. No, 4.
There's 4,
and then there's ZX, right?
Yeah, they made 2 ZX games.
Okay, 2 ZX games. When's the last Mega Man game that came out? Was it literally 11?
Yep. Which was a while ago.
Right.
I think we're at the point where, like, it's been so long since a Mega Man game that it's, like, longer than between the time frame when Mega Man 9 came out, when people were like, the series is dead.
Right. Right. That is nuts. Also, speaking...
These graphics right now really remind me of, like, a point-and-click, like, pre-rendered, like...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, like, horror game with all the rust and stuff. It's a very... this game has a very specific look to it.
Speaking of Capcom series where they just suddenly decided not to release games, where's my information on anything Resident Evil? Unless I missed something. I keep seeing rumors that there's like a Resident Evil 1 remake, which I'm not against.
I've definitely seen that. I wouldn't be against it, but it is kind of...
But that's also setting yourself up for failure. Like, almost everybody universally thinks the Resident Evil 1 remake is like the greatest remake of all time, or top tier remake. And that's just kind of setting yourself up for failure.
It really is interesting for the Resident Evil 1 remake that, it's been... They did it so fast. Like, the first game came out in, like, 1996, and then the remake came out in, like, 2002, so it was, like, only, like, 6 years. And now it's been, like, you know, a million years since, the RE1 remake came out. It's been almost, like, you know, bordering on 25 years now.
I would not be against, doing an RE1 remake. Kind of in the term of, like, Resident Evil 2 remake, or even, I really like Village. I know people don't like it as much as me, but I, like, at least making... I wouldn't want to see them do a remake and be like, look, it's prettier. I'd be like, the game's already pretty, dude. Like, we don't need that. I'm
really tired of remakes. I would say that if they remade RE1 again, that's all they should do ever.
Yeah. No, I get
like,
it.
If they decided not to do a remake of Code Veronica, which it's justified. It's a weird game. Wasn't like super like popular. It's not like numbered or anything. But if they do another remake, do remake 1 and then that's it. Do not remake another Resident Evil again.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. I would rather do Code Veronica because my general view is the games that should be remade are games that have really good ideas but just didn't do everything it should have. And that's literally what Code Veronica is. I personally love it, even through all its flaws, but that's one that's perfect for a remake. Only if you hire the same voice actor for Steve. I don't care that he's 20 years older.
Yeah, and
babe.
During the time, like, the voice actors for the games, I mean, it's obvious because of how, like, low quality it is, but it was just, like, random people that they found, like, around the office. It's like, yep, sure sounds like it.
Sorry about that, babe. I thought you were one of them. No, wait, that's Kendo. Oops. Wait, Steve also says, sorry about that, babe.
Sorry about that, babe.
If they don't have the father scene, we revolt. Father! You know, honest to God, a reason... I know Japanese culture is a lot different than our culture, but the whole Alfred/Alexia subplot, or I guess it's a major plot, with Alfred, like, pretending to be Alexia and even dressing up like her, I don't know how that would fly nowadays.
There's no way they would be able to do
right? But that's, like, kind of like a key plot, right?
Even, like the RE5 remake, it's like, they're going to change, like, a bunch of stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, but, like, could you have the game the same story with... Because the whole thing is them being like, oh, Alexia exists too, and then finding out, like, it was a big reveal. I guess you can just not have that reveal? But that also makes Alfred way less interesting, because, like, he doesn't lose his mind? I don't know. But, man, that would be, try to pull that off nowadays. Definitely. I guess Japan could, maybe.
Definitely is interesting.
I am Alexia
Ashford. Dude, how do I get back up here? I hate these areas with... This entire area is figure out the warp point things. Oh, do I go... This one? Yeah, okay. And then over here, okay.
No. Oh. They also better have the...
talking about a remake that's definitely not going to happen.
They better have it. But it literally makes sense. All right.
I just think after RE4, it's going to be such a weird one to be like, okay, after 4, we're doing Code Veronica.
Bakba Soup's been talking about it for years, and I agree with them. Probably the game that makes the most sense for a remake is Outbreak. People are obsessed with online stuff nowadays, right? Online multiplayer. And it's a game I always wanted to play, but it's just really hard to handle on the PS2. I would accept that. They could do an Outbreak where it's File 1 and File 2 all together. Not
Outbreak
very long
would be
games.
Outbreak would be a cool one.
I always wanted to play it. I kind of hate games where they have like real-time elements going on with them, but I would accept that if it was like easy to play multiplayer with people online.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Like, that game was just so ahead of its time. It's like, good luck finding people with the broadband adapter on the PS2.
Do they have a PC version of it, or is it like you have to do it through like weird emulation stuff?
Can't say I know.
I feel like it's the weird emulation stuff part.
I think so. I don't know.
I feel like I would know if it had like an actual honest-to-goodness PC/Steam port, but maybe not. Anyway, I miss. There's been a lot of good indie horror games, but it's been a while since we had like a main series horror game. I mean, Silent Hill in October, and I did enjoy that for all its faults.
Oh, Spencer got the collector's edition for Clock Tower Rewind, and the face that what's her name, Melissa?
No, Jennifer.
Jennifer. The face that she has on it is so like
it's very chibi.
I think it's like very like she is just so scared. Like Scissorman's about to cut her. Like she's against the wall. There's like scissors around her like shoulders. She just looks so like utterly like scared. It's like striking to me.
I find that to be very weird because in the Super Nintendo, or I guess Super Famicom Clock Tower game, she like doesn't show that much emotion.
No,
like
definitely doesn't.
Right, like she'll go, but she's not like,
And there's that famous like the ones where she reacts to something and like it goes like straight to like her eye. Like they'll like zoom in onto her eye when like something crazy happens, but like that's pretty much it.
Right, but it's not like it's been a while, but I want to say the girl in Haunting Ground is like always like freaked out and stuff. I might have that wrong.
To be fair for her, yes, I would be also freaked out if the plot of the game I'm starring in revolves around.
No, I get it, but I mean even the same thing like the first thing that happens to Jennifer, if I recall, depending on how you do it, is Scissorman drops through a stained glass ceiling, impaling her friend, and she's just like, and then she runs. Like, I would be like, what the? And I would probably just immediately die. But, especially in the PS1 game, which is better, by the way. Fight me. I like the Super Famicom one, but it's a little limited for me. The PS1 one. The only thing about the PS1 one that is a major flaw is you have to do the prologue every time, and you can't skip it. There's literally no quality of life to that. But the PS1 one's better. Sorry, folks. I know. People out there angrily hitting unsubscribe.
Oh.
Then, of course, Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, is the best. It's the current wallpaper on the CIB desktop because I wanted a game one, but a lot of the game ones I found were like very light colors, which is pretty annoying for desktops. And then I found a Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within wallpaper, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're doing this. We're really doing this, Beavis.
And then you remember Clock Tower 3 exists.
That's a 7 out of 10 game if I ever saw it. All I have to say is, Alessa! I honestly wish Scissorman and Scissorwoman were like the main characters in it and not just like one small part of it.
they're too over the top.
They are. I mean, all the characters
so
are over the top.
ridiculous.
The one dude, I think I watched that video of the playthrough like maybe a year or two ago, and I was laughing so hard. The scene where the poor family, the adult son is like caring for his blind mom, and is like, "Mom, I know we're really poor, but I just made you this shawl," and she's like, "Timmy, I will love you forever. You're the best son ever."
Oh, is that when the acid guy comes in?
And the acid guy breaks in and goes, "Hello," and just like
dumps acid on them.
no, he dumps her into acid.
Babe.
He's like, "Come here, Granny," and just literally throws her into a vat of acid and is like, "I'm so evil." And I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. The two characters might have been like, they might as well have been saying, "I know we don't have much, but as long as we have each other and we're alive, I'll be happy. And I'm so glad that we're alive." And then he just immediately breaks in. Bleh. The only scene that'll ever beat it is in Resident Evil Survivor. "Vincent, it's your mother. Come home and stop doing those terrible acts." They put that in that game. They were like, "Sounds good." they literally, that scene was in there, and whoever the director was like, "Yeah, ship it."
Yeah, whoever was making that, like, that was already at the point where, like, Capcom was like, the worst thing about Capcom is that when they have an ID or something that works, like an IP that's popular, they just milk it to the ground. And they just, like, greenlight, like, I think at one point there was, like, 5 concurrent, like, Resident Evil, like, games in production. Like, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis wasn't even supposed to be a numbered Resident Evil. It's, like, such a mess. And then, like, you just get, like, it's just like, "Yep, you're working on this Resident Evil game." It's like, okay, just gonna phone this in.
You now remember Resident Evil Gaiden. I oftentimes forget it, but it does exist. I've tried probably... I'm not understating by saying a half dozen times I've picked it up again. And I try to play everything I do on actual cartridge, so I guess I would play it on the Game Boy player. But, like, I'll pick up an SP and I'll pick up Gaiden and I'll be like, "I'm gonna learn this game. I'm gonna LP it."
Okay, so this character right here, I'm not 100% sure, because the first game has a couple different endings and it's kind of hard to tell, but this might be the main character from the first game.
Ooh.
Any Ender Magnolia or Ender lore god, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but it really seems like it.
But anyway, I've tried probably a half dozen times. I pick it up and play it for an hour and I go. And I can learn the game. The main thing is it's way too hard. Resident Evil Gaiden is so freaking difficult. And then I just stop.
In the first game, there's a couple different endings. One that the main character just leaves. And the true ending is sort of a lot more nebulous in terms of what happens, and it seems like she might like merge into like someone else. But if they go off the just leave ending, I could see her existing, especially because she has the necklace on. But I don't know.
It's a really cool suit of armor in the background.
It is pretty cool.
A 50-foot tall suit of armor.
This area definitely reminds me of Symphony of the Night.
Oh yeah, like the library.
Especially like the music even is like that like Victorian like sort of thing.
I'm not sure if they're the same thing, so I apologize for any music historians out there that are somehow watching this video, but Baroque/Victorian music, I couldn't listen to it all day, but it's some of the most like hauntingly beautiful stuff ever written.
It's really good.
I'm probably saying an oxymoron here, but the dissonant melodics, or the dissonant main theme, I guess you could say, of them is always so awesome. I mean, that's like 50% of my favorite soundtrack of all time, Saga Frontier, so there's so much like Baroque stuff on it, and it's so good. In fact, I'm just gonna listen to the Saga Frontier soundtrack at work tomorrow.
Bass.
And then every couple of years, when I'm listening to video game music, someone comes in and goes, "What the hell's that?" And I go, "Video game music. We're
you listen to that?
We're a video game store." I think what I was listening to at the time was like Mega Man something or other. It's like, what the hell's that music? And it's like, video game music. Where do you think you are? I like how people, you know that "Where do you think you are" from Scrubs, that meme, where it's the curly-haired doctor kind of like looking all crazy, and people pointed out, I was like, where do you think you are? People use that in the wrong term for what that scene is. Like, what people generally use it online for is like as like a sarcasm thing. So like, if someone was complaining about someone having like a brain dead opinion on Twitter, someone would post that and say, "Where do you think you are?" But the way it's done in the show is he's actually losing his mind, and Zach Braff says to the older doctor, like, "Where do you think you are? Like, where do you think we are right now?" Not like in a sarcastic way. Because he's literally not at the place that he thinks he is.
That's interesting. I mean, I've never... Actually, I have watched The Scrubs, but only because Jacob used to watch it. And I used to really think it was, like, just so cheesy and not funny at all. It was, like, one of those shows that tried to be, like, heartfelt, but, like, all the characters are just, like... it just seemed like they were just all, like, very cliche, like, caricatures of, like, very general stuff. And then they would, like, try to have, like, some sort of, like, ooh, this is, like, the heart of the show right here.
Yeah, it was trying to go between being silly at times and being very heartfelt at times, and that's really hard to pull off. I did watch the whole show except for the last season. The last season, famously, like, almost all the main characters leave. It pretty much does The Office, but worse, and they just, like, hire, like, a bunch of new actors, and they're like, "No, we're doing this last season, bruh." And then obviously it ended after that, but... Yeah, it's funny, I always see that meme used in its, like, technically improper context, because it's actually, like, really sad. I forget the super context of it, but it is that character, the older doctor, is, like, actually losing his mind and losing his grip on reality. Because he's, I don't know, he's, like, joking around, he's like, "Oh, come on, you know..." I think he's, like, talking about if I recall correctly, I think he's talking about a character, like, in, like, a jovial, like, silly sense, like, "Let's just go talk to him." And they're at, like, a funeral, and Zach Braff's like, "Where do you think you are? Like, do you think that character's alive right now?" And, like, he's like, "Nah, they're, like, at his funeral or whatever," so. Classic Scrubs. If I have that slightly wrong, I apologize, Scrubs fans. I know, everyone wants me to do hours and hours of research before I talk about random things.
Also, I'm not saying that Scrubs is bad, but the couple episodes I watched, it seemed like, yeah.
I think that's one that would be hard to come in, because it's such a character-centric show. It'd be hard to just watch a random episode. I don't know. There's some episodes, like, I feel like some shows like Seinfeld, you can just pick up any episode, and within that 20 minutes, you'll understand how the characters act and everything. And be fine, but I think Scrubs, because it goes for the drama, you need to kind of go in order.
Yeah. I formally apologize to Scrubs.
You better.
I activated the biggest Scrubs stan, Spencer
That's me.
D. Brossman.
Yep. I can name one character on it. JD is the main character, I'm pretty sure. I forget the names of the other characters. I watched the whole damn show.
JD Vance.
Well, do you know why he's yelling at the older doctor? Because he forgot to say please. Okay. That edit of him with the curly hair and being fatter is just amazing. I don't even know how it morphed into that so quick, but that is like an all-timer. Like, there's something about it, I just see it and I'm like, this is incredible.
I watched more, like, economic videos just to understand like what's happening in the world or whatever. And one of the thumbnails was talking about the Trump tariffs, and they just did like another like new version of the JD Vance like stupid face meme, and it made me laugh. So.
Dude, they're so funny. I don't know how they made like it's not unrealistic. Like it's not like an AI slop thing. It's someone you can see existing in real life, and if you just saw him, you'd be like, you're not like intimidated.
Yeah, even
you just want to laugh.
Even without him being edited, it is just. Yeah, like he just looks silly. He just has a really bloated, fat face.
It's really, really funny.
I think I did everything. What time is it?
Just about 9.
Okay, I should probably. All right, we'll stop. There's a boss. I won't be able to finish this place, but there's a boss in the middle of this place. I'll stop on the boss.
Sometimes certain memes just instantly hit the ground running. And there's something about it that I'll never say no to. Uh-oh. I am lay sad. So you're fighting this person all while that person's just crying.
Yeah, I guess they're overwhelmed. I don't know.
This one wasn't too bad.
This is like, yeah, this is a mid-boss, so... It's definitely not supposed to be super hard.
Hiya! You can't see my eyes because my hair is covering them.
Yeah, is that... I guess that isn't supposed to be like a blindfold. I guess they're just supposed to be like faceless, just to signify that they don't matter at all. It doesn't look like...
I was just thinking that like the shadow is over their eyes.
I guess
maybe.
So. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to have for them to have a blindfold on. Okay, we'll finish up this place and get our second pressure ability, and then the game is a cakewalk from then. Well, not really. It gets a lot harder, but my ultimate cheese tactic is coming together.
Let's go. Alright, we'll see you next time, boys. And bye.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
How did Firefox do that?